welcome to video number 2 in our Journey to Mortal Kombat 11 series. In this video, we're going to break down some of our predictions and thoughts on what we think is going to come into MK11 in terms of gameplay and content. So, let's stop fucking around and let's take a look. The first thing I want to talk about is arguably the thing that's most pressing on everyone's mind. What level of customization will we have? Will Injustice 2's controversial gear system return, or will we have the traditional Mortal Kombat skins? Here's what I think. Why not both? It's no secret that the gear system is a huge hit, though still is very divisive among NRS fans. I, myself, found that I loved the gear system. The notion of having new things to work towards unlocking and the addiction of the loot systems in gaming today was absolutely not lost on me. Making my Batman the coolest looking version of Batman that I could come up with was incredibly engaging to me and expanded the life cycle of the game in my eyes. Ever since then, I've fantasized to no end on how this could be tailored for Mortal Kombat going forward. I think that there actually can be a healthy balance of a cosmetic gear system and a traditional skin system in place that really pleases everyone. Now, when it comes to the gear system, I really think it's almost essential that MK11 has its own version of it implemented. From a content standpoint, to leave it out would make MK11 seem to pale in comparison to Injustice 2. The seemingly endless amount of options and customization it brought to the table for Injustice 2 was a healthy evolution, and it took the fighting genre to the next level of quality and content. Additionally, if you like them or not, loot boxes keep players coming back for that ever so addicting notion to find out what the new crate has to offer, and I think, much like Overwatch, Injustice 2 really implemented the loot boxes into a way that didn't make it seem like that's all the game was about. I was fine with them and I enjoyed them quite a bit, and I think MK11 can really take this to the next level. I mean, the one thing that everyone always wants is their perfect version of their favorite character. For example, for me, I always want to see an MK2 skin of Scorpion. MK2 was my favorite version of Mortal Kombat, and it absolutely shaped me as a player, and what I always want to see is that version of Scorpion rummaging around in my game. What would be even better though would be the satisfaction of unlocking it all and piecing it together myself. Hell, maybe one day I want a Scorpion with an MK2 mask, an MK3 vest, and MK Deception legs and shin guards. The combination potential and ability to craft your favorite character to look however you want is absolutely fantastic to me, and I really don't mind the grind. Because the grind in my favorite franchise of all time just means I'm getting that much more value out of it for the things I enjoy. Now, let me just say, I fully understand that this isn't something that everyone agrees with, and that's totally fine. You don't need to skin me alive in the comments section. I get it, and that's okay to have different opinions on things. And with that, I think that premier skins can come into play here. Special, exclusive, and unlockable skins that can be unlocked in the Crypt or other means within the game. I see no reason why both can't coexist. I imagine how much longevity the game can have if both are implemented in a healthy way to exist in today's standards in gaming. The only thing I would not be super stoked on with the gear system is if it had gameplay changing mechanics as part of the gear, much like Injustice 2 has, even though that doesn't really cross over into the ranked category things. But I think this teetered the line of Injustice 2, and I really wouldn't want to see it for MK unless they revamped it and tied it into the variation system somehow, should that be returning. On the flip side of that though, I think that if they do go the variation route, full customization would be ideal. I'm talking fully tailored moves list. Say, for example, you get 3 loadouts for each character, effectively replacing the variation system. But each loadout's special moves were customizable, meaning you could choose from a full list of moves spanning from that character's entire franchise with the history from the start to current. Maybe you pick like up to a list of 4 specials, mix and match and split them into 3 loadouts or variations that you could then name yourself. Consider that. I actually think that's pretty exciting, especially if you can unlock new moves and things, especially within the Crypt and perhaps loot boxes. And I don't know, speaking of the Crypt, let's talk about that. The Crypt has been a staple in the series since its inception in 2002 with Deadly Alliance, and I think, of course, we can expect it to come back around again in MK11. This time though, I'm expecting a massive overhaul, or at least hoping for one. In previous games, the Crypt was a place to unlock skins, concept art, fatality codes, and such quality gems as cooking with Scorpion. This has always been a point in MK that really added some meat to its bones. Gamers love unlocking shit, and this has always been one of the highlights of the series. However, with the almost guaranteed notion of an MK form of loot boxes and a quote-unquote gear system hopefully coming into play here, how can they tailor this to accommodate these new ways of unlocking? I think a notion of an endless, procedurally generated crypt offering up the ever-revolving set of graves for you to dig up can really offer up RNG boxes that offer extra items as a logical way to go. Or maybe you can even find and earn keys in the towers in single-player mode that you could bring into the crypt to hunt down a generated grave that you could unlock. Fuck! That would be so sick. That would offer up almost endless hours of things to unlock, and they could continuously add to it. It's not super likely that this will be the route they take with the crypt, but it's what I would really like to see. What do you think? Next up, let's talk about towers. Towers have been the focus point of single-player content in Mortal Kombat since 1992, and of course this has evolved heavily over the years and it just keeps getting better. I think they were really close to something great in MKX with their towers, and with some tweaks and improvements it could be near perfect in MK11. So, living towers. I think that of course we're going to see these return, but I'm hoping that in Mortal Kombat 11 there's a slightly new mechanic to it. I think something that needs a huge comeback in Mortal Kombat is hidden characters. Now, sure, there were secret fights in MKX, but these were already just more powerful versions of existing characters. And I'm talking here completely new, non-playable NPC fighters that are tough as dick to beat. I would love to access hidden fights like we could in MK1 and 2, and have even randomized boss characters appear in towers as events, and just keep things fresh rather than just always fighting the same characters and the same members of the cast over and over with slight variations. I think it would be great if, say, every month they had a new NPC fighter that you could find and fight hidden throughout the towers, and characters that you wouldn't find anywhere else and things that you wouldn't see anywhere else. It would bring back that level of mystery that I think MK is missing and has been missing for quite some time. For example here, imagine they announced that for month X only, find and fight Chameleon to earn specific Chameleon-themed gear. Or, next month only, find and beat Hornbuckle to earn a special key to unlock exclusive skins within the crypt. That's the type of shit I want to experience in my single-play adventures in MK11. Well, that brings us into the last thing I want to talk about in today's video, and this is going to be about the coveted story mode. Now, this is what means the most to me, because MK's lore and story are what I am most passionate about and invested in. Mortal Kombat wouldn't be the powerhouse today if it wasn't for its excellent stories and world building. So, let's first talk about structure. Ever since Mortal Kombat vs. DC, NRS has been rocking the chapter-based cutscene story modes. That's all well and good, and it's served well for the writing to a point, but I think Midway did things a bit better. This team, circa 2004 to 2006, was a much more ambitious team when it came to their story modes, which were, of course, called Conquest modes. Much like hidden characters, I think it's high time that this comes back. If we could get a full-fledged adventure story mode happening a la Deception mixed with some Shaolin Monks gameplay, intercut and transitioning in and out of traditional MK fights, numerous realms to travel between, and secrets and puzzles galore, I would personally fly out to Chicago, take Ed Boon out to a fancy meal at White Castle Burgers, and let that motherfucker order everything on the menu. Now, this is likely not going to happen. The NRS structure is a well-oiled machine, and they're not going to deviate from that. You can expect another absolutely beautiful cinematic chapter-based story mode to come back as per usual, giving you a solid 5 to 8 hour experience. Gone are the days, I fear, of ambitious 30-hour story adventure modes built into a fighting game. Well, I think because of that, we should pour out a 40 ounce of Tarkatan blood for Conquest modes though, huh? What do you think? So, we could of course assume that on the story structure, but what will we be seeing happen within that story? Well, we're going to get into that in our next video where we break down where we think the direction of the story is going to go. So with that, my friends, I bid you adieu. And again, my name's Adam Ronan, and if you want to talk about this further, I suggest you let me know in the comments what you think the gameplay mechanics of Mortal Kombat 11 are going to be. And if you want to chat with me directly, you know, you can always get me on Twitter. And guys, if you enjoyed this, please press that subscribe button. It really means a lot to me that we grow this channel to be what I think it should be. Press that bell so you are notified when a new video goes live. And as always, stay geeky, my motherfuckers. We'll see you soon.